Started. All right. Well, welcome to our team call, everyone. I'm so excited for our special guest tonight. Most of you guys know him. If you're brand new, there's a couple people that are brand new that have never heard of Simon before. So I'm really excited to share him with you guys in particular. But for those of you that have been around for a while, we've had him on calls before. Many of you have done trainings with Simon before, and he's just a wealth of knowledge. And I'm so honored to have him here with you tonight. And he's truly become a friend of mine. I follow him on social media. I watch what he does with his family. I'm in awe of what a great dad he is, and what an awesome family man he is, and what an awesome man of faith he is. So he's just become a dear friend to me over the years. But I want to give him a proper introduction. Before that, I want to just do a couple quick announcements. I want to recognize Pam Evers for completing her onboarding training. Congratulations, Pam. Your Go Pro book is in the mail. So I'm excited to have you go through that. And thank you for your feedback too, because she gave great feedback and really recognized all of the leaders who put time and energy into the training, and shouted out Tiffany. Really loved Tiffany's training. So thank you for that. Want to remind you guys, signups are available in Team Synergy for our local Super Saturday in Ohio. I know several of you guys are even flying in for this event. So I'm super excited about that, September 23rd. And then brand new ISA Academy in Atlanta, Georgia, October 6th to 7th. That'll be our last live event for the year. So hope to see many of you guys there as well. And you know the importance of events. We may even touch on that tonight. But without any further ado, I want to introduce you guys to Simon with a proper introduction. He is a consistency coach. And honestly, when I think of consistency, I have two people that come to mind immediately that are friends of mine outside of Isogenics. One of them is Scott Aaron from LinkedIn. You guys know and love Scott Aaron. And one of them is Simon. So much so, he wrote a book on it, The Consistency Pill. He's a coach. He's a speaker. He's an author. And this is an Amazon best-selling book. If you guys do not have it, make sure you order that. And he has the 7-step system to increase sales and transform your business. He helps network marketers earn a part-time income of at least $1,000 a month by getting them to be consistent. So those of you that are part-time, put a 1 in the chat if earning $1,000 a month would be something you could get excited about. Put a 1 in the chat. He helps defeat overwhelm and helps people build a successful business online. But he's best known as the host of MLM Nation podcast, the #1 network marketing podcast that features in-depth interviews that he's done with over 700 top income earners. And I was lucky enough to be one of the people he interviewed, but you guys would recognize so many of the names of people he's interviewed over the years. And that's how I got to know him, through his podcast. He also has built in the field like you and I. He started in network marketing in 2003 and built a multi-million-dollar global business with over 200,000 distributors by pioneering online duplication. And now in 2013, he retired from building and to be a full-time trainer and founded MLM Nation. So first of all, Simon, thank you so much for giving us your time this evening and being with us. I can't thank you enough.
Well, thanks for having me, Cindy. It's an honor and I'm excited. It's good to see some friends here. I know I've spoken to many of you before. Cynthia, good to see you here. Taylor, good to see you here. And but anyway, I'm excited. So I know this is a little different. You're just going to ask me questions, and put the Dana Randazzo is here as well. By the way, Dana and Cindy were both on MLM Nation podcast. If you never listened to those episodes, make sure those are the first 2 you listen to. And you can just go to mlmnation.com, click on the podcast tab, and you see the episodes there. But anyway, Cindy, I know this is Q&A. Normally I ask questions, but I told you, I'll let you ask the questions. So
we're going to do a little role reversal tonight, which is kind of exciting for me. And what I'd like to start off with is, I really like how you market that you want to help people earn a part-time income of $1,000 a month. Can you elaborate on, how did you choose $1,000, and elaborate on that goal? Because I think so many people think I have to be a 6-figure income earner in network marketing, and they get discouraged if they're not in a year. So let's talk a little bit about that.
I think, hearing those great success stories are awesome. But the reality is most people are not going to make six figures in 6 months or six figures in 2-3 years, right? Because if you're part-time, it's very, very difficult. Because by the way, I definitely wasn't. Okay, I did not make six figures in 2 or 3 years. It took me like 4 years, like 3.5, 4 years to hit that mark. But I set that goal because if you can earn 100 a month, you can make 200 a month. And I think $1,000 a month, it may not get you excited, but it gives you a foundation to really take your business to the next level. And I think when you setting big goals are good, but before you hit those big goals, you need certain small little milestones. And if you can hit $1,000 a month, you build a foundation to getting to a full-time income. And by the way, $1,000 a month, it changes tremendous amounts of lives if everyone can earn an extra 1,000. So that's why I reached out to it. I wanted to set a target that's realistic and really show you, like, now, of course, you can make $1,000 a month doing Uber or doing something like that, but that's not residual, right? That's not income that continues to pay you. Just to be fully transparent, I haven't done anything in network marketing building wise in 10 years, but I still get paid. I still get paid a residual income, right? So if you go out and get a second job, third job, you may make more than 1,000 a month, but it's not going to be residual. I think that's the beautiful part of this profession, is that it continues to pay you even after, if you build it the right way and you build it consistently, it continues to pay you even after you stop working. And I think, so that's why I set the goal.
Yeah, I love that. And how hard do you think that is realistically to earn $1,000 a month? I mean, what kind of time do the part-time people here need to put in? What kind of effort do they need to put in to be able to earn that $1,000 a month? Because that looks very different than a full-time, business with Isogenics.
I think if you did 10, the low end, 10 hours to 20 hours a week, and within consistently for 1 year, that's definitely doable. Probably a lot quicker. Now, I don't want to give you time frames because it all depends on where you're from, what type of background. If you're someone like Cindy, who had a network, it's going to be much quicker, right? If you're someone like Taylor, who's young and sharp, who's always giving value, I see stuff on TikTok giving value, it's going to be a lot quicker, right? If you're someone like me, who all I did was, and my friends would just get a job and party and then play some sports in the weekends, it's going to be a lot harder. So it was a lot harder for me. But if you stay consistent with it, it will. Right now, it may take you 1 year to get to $1,000 a month, but people all think, well, if it takes me 1 year to get $1,000 a month, then it may take me 2 years to get to 2,000, which is 2,000 a month, which is not true. It may take you, 2 years to get to. No, actually, let me ask you this. I'll be fully transparent about this. In my first year in network marketing, okay, my first couple of months, I made no money because I struggled. And then, and I talked about in my book, I struggled for months. Now, I don't think you even know this answer, Cindy. My first year, and then I finally turned it around. I had a team of 33 people after my first year, like 32, 33 people. Guess how much I made in my first year in network marketing? And I recruited like 80 something people after my first year, but consistently like 80 people a year. Okay. Again, 40 something, the first 5-6 months, nothing. And then I start building. I got it. How much money do you think I made my first year in the business?
5,000.
I actually made 11,000. I had some bonuses. Our pay plan was very similar to Isogenics, balanced them out, 11,000. So I ran the convention. I had my first leader in my first, after it took me 1 year to get someone actually did something. Okay, because after what happened is because he went to the event. He got only one sign up for like a $250 package, and he just prospect, no one signed up, prospect, no one signed up. And then finally, after going to a company convention, just like you said, your event, within 2 weeks, he signed up 6 people, right? Because his belief was different. He used to think, oh, it's too expensive, no one will buy this. His belief of the company, the industry, the profession, the products just went through the roof. So he signed up 6 people. But in the second year, so I had one leader, and I'm consistently building, recruiting 80 people a year. Guess how much money I made in my second year? And anyone can guess. Type it in. I'm actually interested. This is a good lesson.
Yeah, go ahead, you guys, type it in. I would probably say more like 30,000, 40,000.
Okay, I'm going to wait for at least 5 or 6 people. All right. Good. Okay. So after doing building, I'm growing. I made 18,000 my second year. Okay. And I think I share that because it was a lot of that's the point where it doesn't work. I mean, I'm recruiting, but you know what? Everyone I recruited, no one had any motivation to do anything. Now, except for me and that one leader. No one had any motivation. Just me and him. He started recruiting. He recruited like 1 or 2 people a month part-time. And by the way, he's still active in the business, the #1 customer enrolled in the entire company. But we just made 18,000. And that was a year where it's like, there's this saying that true leadership is tested during tough times, right? And now my belief was like, does this even work? I'm spending 2 years of my life, made 18,000. But that's when you got to feed yourself with like positivity. Yes, it works. You got to go to company events. You kind of like, I don't like the word use a brainwash, but you can be brainwashed for negativity, brainwashed with positivity. That's when you got to keep feeding your mind with positivity. Every time you're like, oh, this may not work, you just keep yourself positive. That's when you have to keep going to events. Because if I stayed at home, I'll quit. But the thing that saved me was I was always talking to my mentor. I'll go to every single company event and it just keep me in there. So I'm still recruiting 80 people, even though that's part of you're selling a vision. Even when you're not successful, you're selling, it works. This is the best company. You're going to be, this is financial freedom with that. And you're like, I'm struggling making 18,000, right? Part-time. And so I keep going, right? And I think that's the big part of it. Even if you have lack of success, your success has nothing to do with your prospecting, right? Because, for example, I could recruit someone like Cindy, and she could make way more than 18 grand in 2 years than I did. Well, by the way, it's not 18 grand total, it's 18 grand a year. So after 11 and then 18 is 29, right? So you got to believe in the vision, and you got to say to yourself that even if I haven't done it, I'm dumb and slow, I'm Asian, I can't speak, English is my third language, I speak fast. I may get someone that's good that can be 10 times smarter than me. And you got to keep that faith. Right? It doesn't, an entrepreneur, you got to faith it till you make it. Right? It's like Elon Musk right now. He's doing Twitter. You probably read the news. Twitter's not making money. Everyone's leaving. But he's still like, Twitter's going to be the best thing. Right? You can say Twitter's a piece of crap. Who uses it? Everyone's leaving. What average? But an entrepreneur has faith. Even when SpaceX, I like to use Elon Musk. SpaceX, their rocket ships are blowing up. Nothing working. He's still saying, oh, we're going to change the world. That's what you're doing. Even if you're not making any money as Isagenix, you got to talk like it's the best thing in the world. Mm-hmm. You cannot let your lack of success, like, oh, I'm not good, and this is not good, I'm not making money, no one in the call is making money, or only a couple of people make, you got to keep going, right? So I keep going. You trick yourself to success. You can trick yourself to failure, or you can trick yourself to success, right? So, and by the way, you're only one person away. I recruit a person like Cindy, I recruit a person like Dana, and everything can change. So I'm making only 18 grand. I keep going. A leader's girlfriend decides to do the business. She becomes good. And guess what I made in the third year in the business? Type it in. My third year in the business, guess how much money I made?
I'd say 50 at this point then.
Okay, we're 40, 50, 35. All right. I see the expectation is a lot lower now, right? So, you know, I still didn't know what I was doing. I'm still clueless. I made only 24,000. And that was when I feel like if you get punched in the face, there's a great saying by Mike Tyson, everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face. All my plans are, what the heck is, I was supposed to be full-time now. But you know what? Before I started, I made a promise to myself. I'm going to build this business consistently because I read a book called Network Marketing for Dummies. And they did studies where if you build in the same company for 5 years, and I'm not talking about those companies that are hype and then go. I'm talking about companies like Isagenix, right? They're going to be around for forever, for years and decades. So you build consistently doing the business every single day for 5 years or more, you can make a full-time income, 50 grand. And by the way, 50 grand is nothing in LA. I say I want to make 100 grand. But I said to myself, if I quit before 5 years, I'm cheating myself. Mm-hmm. But if I have 5 years, I don't make it, then I'm out of here. Okay. So that's kept me going. And I keep going to the events. I keep talking about this is the best thing since sliced bread, even though I made only 24,000. I'm still talking about this is a great business, blah, blah, blah. So guess how much I made? And I keep on recruiting. You're selling the vision. right? Just because you're not successful does not mean, I'm saying this 5 times already. You're selling something that doesn't exist. You're selling hope. We're selling dreams. Even though you are maybe a nightmare and I was a nightmare, you're still selling the dream. And that's, I think most people don't get that. It's like, you think I need to be like Cindy in order to be successful recruiter. No, everyone at one point, like Cindy, had nothing, right? When Cindy started Isogenics, she had nothing. You had direct sales experience, but why would those people trust you? Right? When you joined Isogenics, it was still kind of relatively new. Why was something, we're all selling something that doesn't exist, but you got to be confident in your vision. That's why it's the vision and your dream. So guess how much I made in my 4th year?
60.
Now we're in my 4th year. I finally made a full-time 50 something thousand. Okay. In my 5th year, guess how much I made? My 5th year,
100.
130,000. Right. And then my 6th year, I made 250,000. Right. So I'm sharing that story not to discourage you all. Now, because I had no business experience, I didn't like to network. In fact, when I first started prospecting, I talk about turning point for me for consistency. When I would call someone, I was keeping my fingers crossed and almost praying that a person would not pick up the phone. Because if they didn't pick up, I wouldn't need to talk to them. But I did my work. They say I have to reach out to 5 or 10 people. My mentor told me, why I reached out. It's not my fault that they didn't pick up the phone. I didn't want them to pick up the phone. So I had no experience, right? But you stay consistently, you'll be successful. My friend, who is the #1 customer enroller for the last 6-7 years in his company, he didn't make much. It took him like 2-3 years to make 20 something thousand. He was the exact same way because all he did was party and drink 6-7 nights a week. So it took a lot of him to change. But the profession works. And you got to ask yourself is, who do you need to become to be a leader? Right? Who do you need to become? And I know some of you got your notebooks out and stuff. It's like, you got to ask yourself, who do you need to become? And what action step you're going to take right after this call? Because you may be learning, you're probably motivated. And, I think one thing I did do was always stay close to the fire, right? Like, I don't know where that saying comes from, but if you're in a campfire, you stay close to the fire, you're warm. If you go away, you get cold. So being on this call is awesome because you're staying warm. You're warm, you're excited about Isogenics, right? And that's when you have to take action. That's why you got to go to the events. That's why you got to be around. If your majority of your time that you're spending in your life is away from Isogenics, then you're going to get discouraged. You're not going to take action. And the reality is, most of you, 80% of your time is not with people that is going to help build your business, right? Whether it's consciously or unconsciously. For example, if you have a job and you're at work for 8 hours, you'll manage that 8 hours. You're not with people in Isogenics. Your mindset is in work mode, right? So so after work, so what can you do is, like, during your lunch break, right? Feed your mind with positivity, feed your mind with network marketing, get your dreams, and that keeps you in that. That was me. Now, I didn't have success, but I was always listening to the audience. I was always going to the events, and that kept me in there. It's just like, I'll give you an example. Like, I actually, not many people know this, but I played college basketball. I was a baseball fan growing up. Then I just basically stopped following baseball for 20 something years. I was into basketball, but because of my kids, I got back into baseball, right? Because I'm around baseball all the time. Like, we have a tryout on Saturday. I'm actually going to hit with my son again later on. We're always baseball. That I actually like baseball more than basketball now, right? Because I'm in that environment. I'm not in the basketball environment, right? So if you're not in the Isogenics environment, you're naturally going to get demotivated. So when you're struggling, you're going to lose. So it's 95% of success is all mental. You have to understand it's like my favorite chapter in my book is chapter, like the second to last chapter, is talking about angel and the devil. The angel's like, you can do it. You got this. You got it. Awesome. It's the best comeback. I'm excited. And then the devil will be like, who are you kidding? You're not making any money. You've been in this business for 2 years and you're just putting money away. Why are you going to that event? It's just money down the drain, right? It's always, you can do it. You can't do it. You can do it. You can't do it. And it's constant fighting. And it's beating yourself, beating that devil and say, hey, and you just have to win the next 10 minutes. I was talking about right after this call ends, Go take 10 minutes and do something that promotes your business. Cindy always talks about a DMO, the income producing activities. Do something. Do a follow-up, do a social media post, do something, right? And if you win enough 10 minutes, you're going to win the hour. If you win enough hours, you're going to win the day. And you don't need to do a lot. You don't need to be full-time, but you do need to be productive working on that DMO. And like I said, sometimes it could be just 10 minutes. 10 minutes, you get enough of those 10 minutes, you're going to win the hour, you're going to win the day. And then you win the day, you're going to win the week, you're going to win the week, you're going to win the month, you win enough month, you can have an awesome year.
Yeah. And that's what I want to switch into is DMOs. So what are the action steps that you feel are most important for everyone to do on a consistent basis? Is it social media, posting stories, going live? Is it picking up the phone? Is it all of the above? Like, where do you feel people need to spend the majority of their working hours? Because I think a lot of us can get into the scroll hole, liking and commenting or putting something out there. We call it posting and praying. We get into that habit, but we really want people, especially those that have full-time jobs, and this is part-time for them, to know exactly what they should be doing to make the most of their time.
I think all the stuff you said is important. You got to post on social media. You got to meeting new contacts is key, right? Most network marketers fail because they run out of people to talk to, right? So you talk to all your friends and family, and it's nothing. Or you sign up a couple customers, you sign up a couple distributors, and then there's no one else to talk to, right? That's a recipe for failure because most people are not going to do much. Most of the people you bring in are just going to be customers, right?
Mm-hmm.
The glorified customers. So you got to meet new people. You got to send out invites, ask people whether they're interested to take a look. You have to follow up with people. You can send out your video. Or I have a whole my DMO thing. If you want to, you can just Facebook message me. I'll send it to you. But all those are important. But one thing that makes things much easier, that makes the rest easier, is creating content. Now, if you post social, like every one of you, if I were in your shoes right now, it doesn't matter what level you are, right? Some of you are new. I would take a screenshot of this Zoom and just do a gratitude post. I'm so grateful for my leaders, Cindy and Dana, for having this awesome training on Monday night. I'm so excited for my business. That's it, right? Now, you may have crickets and no one comments. That's fine, right? People are watching you. And a lot of times they may watch you, they see it, they may scroll past you, but they notice you. They may not comment, they may not like, but they notice you. Like, I'll share something with you. Like I just recently, like 3 months ago, did like a big business deal with someone, right? I don't even really know that person that well, but he's someone I went to college with. I maybe the only thing, I may message him once or twice a year. I do sing happy birthday to him every year, right? So he knows I'm consistent. And he gave me we did a great deal. He trusted me on something. Right? And the whole point of this is because I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, and I post every day. I do a pep talk every day. And 365 days a year, I'm always doing something. And he clicks it. And then it's like by the way, he never comments it. He's not in network marketing, has nothing to do with network marketing. Okay. He is like a self-made, probably 8-figure, 10 millionaire, whatever, in the bank, whatever. But he sees me posting all the time. So without me trying to impress him, he just trusts me because he knows for the last 10 years, I show up every single day, right? He clicks my profile. I do a pep talk 5 days a week. You see my stories. I'm doing the same thing. So that is something that is probably the most important, right? And it's someone, by the way, you all can get my newsletter. I wrote about this in my tomorrow's MLM Nation newsletter. If you don't have a copy of it, just go to mlmnation.com, click on newsletter. You can subscribe there. It's just delivered to your email inbox. But someone asked me, how do you follow up without being annoying? Now, one of the ways to follow up is different scripts, but one of the easiest ways to follow up is to show up every single day in your business and talk about it, right? You say, hey, I'm so excited. Like I said, I'll give you an idea. Just take a screenshot or take a story of you using your product, right? Hey, this is the stuff that keeps me going every day. Just keep talking. Like, I'm so excited. I'm registered for the October event. I love this book that my Cindy recommended. Just keep talking about the business. And it doesn't, you don't need to make money. Just talk about things you learned. I think every one of you learned something where it's affected your personal life, right? Just keep sharing that. And then over time, people realize, like, what are you doing? That's basically how I started back in 20 years ago. Actually, 19 years ago, like I said, I didn't know many people in LA. But that time I started an e-zine. I don't know, some of you, I'm dating myself, but we had e-zines. Before even blogs existed, there was an e-zine. And I didn't know any technology. I just copy and pasted like 180 something emails and put it in BCC and sent it to everyone. And I did that every 2 weeks, updates about my life, right? And I send up, what do people want to learn? Hey, these are all friends in my war market. What I share was 80% was personal stuff. Who am I dating? Where's the parties? What's happening? Because that's what people want to know. They don't care about business, whatever. 80% about like my personal life. Who was I dating? Was serious, whatever. And then 10% about giving some value. I take something I learned from my mentors or my books and share. Hey, this is a time management tip, right? And then 10% was my business has been awesome. I love doing my business. Now, I wasn't even making any money. I just shared with you how much I love my business. I'm so excited. I love our Saturday. Like, I'm not lying. I love my Saturday training course, even though I was making no money. I love my Saturday training. They're awesome. But I said it to them, and over time, people read it over and over and over again. They see, oh, Simon's really serious about his business. He's still doing it. Mm-hmm. And eventually that easy became a blog and before social media came along, right? So that's how you do it. It's like posting, letting people know. One mistake a lot of people do is, oh, I posted 5 days a week. I got no prospects. It takes time. Right? It takes time. You never know. And often the person you expect the most will not join. Mm-hmm. And I think, Cindy, you know this, the person you expect the most will not join. And then the person you least expect comes out of nowhere. Oh, I've been following you. Seems like it's pretty interesting. Tell me more what you do. And that's how it works.
Someone asked in the chat, what do you consider a pep talk?
Well, I do my pep talk. It's just a motivational talk. You don't need to. Pep talk's actually not easy. Not something I would recommend. I basically just share something to motivate people, right? And it's easy for me because I've been doing this for 20 years to motivate down, like blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's fun. I was just sharing that with, who was I sharing that to? I was sharing to one of my best friends, like how I do this. I was motivating the kids, right? And talking about being a leader. It's like, how do you know this stuff, Simon? Well, I learned this stuff. I didn't know anything. I've been doing this for 20 years because I learned it through network marketing. That's why I love this profession, like leadership skills. Like communicating, just something just happened to my son's baseball team was terrible, right? It was great intentions, but terrible because of bad leadership from the guy who runs the program. He didn't know about communicating to your leaders first, right? Like he made a big change, and instead of telling his leaders first, like you would do, Cindy, he just put it on social media, and then all these people texted, Simon, what's happened to this team? I'm like, oh, look, I was sharing it was actually my son, my oldest son. We're going to the gym. I was like, look at all this time I'm wasting replying his messages because this person had bad leadership. If he actually personally message the parents or leave an audio message, and you can send that same audio message to 12 parents, then no one will be panicking because everyone's panicking, texting me about this stuff that I have to deal with, right? So these are things that I don't even know what we're talking about, but I learned through network marketing. And what was the question?
Question was, what do you consider?
Pep talk, right? Through I learned. So pep talk could be something motivational, right? It could be, and I share one of the things, it's not, you don't need to go Facebook a live video. It's kind of probably one of the best ways, but could be difficult. But take something that you've learned, like success quote or motivational quote, and but don't just share it, but talk about why you're sharing it. Most people just copy and paste and put a quote, but that means nothing. And well, 10 years ago, that was cool. This is 2023, that doesn't work. Share why are you sharing that? Why? Right? And that's basically my pep talk. If you watch my pep talks, they're basically some success quote. And I talk about it. And the origin was, I interview people like Cindy. You know, on my podcast, one of the questions is, what's your favorite success quote? You share that, and then I talk about it, right? So I'm teaching, and I'll talk about it, how I apply it. So basically, that's how my pep talk. But that's something you can all do, right? If you learn something today, or you learn something from Dana or Cindy before, or from Taylor, take that and share it. Like Taylor's got great stuff. I mean, not to have a personal, what do you call that? Personal preference, right? What do you call favoritism, right? Because Taylor, I always see his stuff on TikTok, on Instagram. He's showing up all the time. He's creating content, right? And when he's creating content, that goes, all right. If I was following Taylor, this guy's pretty good. He's pretty young, showing how, where do you learn that stuff? It creates curiosity, and curiosity creates conversations, and conversations leads to prospects.
Right, right. Awesome, awesome. What advice can you give to people to grow their list? So we've got brand new people that still haven't worked through their warm market yet, but once, I want them thinking long term, once they get through their warm market, they'll need to continue to grow their list. So what advice could you give people to do on a consistent basis? Like, do you suggest getting on the social media platforms and following new people every day? What tips can you give for growing the list?
I have a whole blog post about that called Clam. You basically comment, like, add message. Go find someone post, comment on it, and like it. And you like it, or you heart it, whatever, right? And you comment, and then you DM them, right? And find some ways to give value. How can I give value to the person? Thank them, right? That can go along in the deal, but you basically go to a post, like it, you comment, you add them, you send them a message, and then there you go, you meet someone, right? And the easiest way to meet someone is someone like a hobby group. Like, I don't actually personally like business groups, because most people in a business group are like, using business hashtags on Instagram. They're in the business already. But like, if you want to follow baseball, there's tons of, million people, parents with sons do baseball, build a relationship with them. And it's easy to do that, right? Because you have a common interest.
Mhm.
And I want to go over, I was looking at these questions, right? Most people, Laura says, most people say don't mention products on social media if you're building. That's correct. You can, well, I want to advise, don't mention isogenics if you're building it, but you can talk about your products. So you should, like, this is the product I take. This is the stuff I take every morning to make me feel good, right? This is the power shake I take to make me feel good, have all the energy, right? And you can even, I'll give you an idea. You can take that shake, one in your car, take it in your office, take it in the kitchen, take it with your kids in different environments. And over time, what's people going to wonder? What are you taking? See, you don't, well, they say don't mention your products, don't mention the name, because when you name it, then I'll Google it. And then there's no curiosity, right? And even if they were interested, if they Googled it, you wouldn't know who actually Googled it. But if they're interested, Google, you wouldn't know, right? And also, once they Google it, they may find negative stuff, or my brother-in-law did this like 10 years ago, right? It doesn't work for them, so you automatically prejudge. You want to create that conversation. All right, so you definitely should show your products, but don't mention the name. Don't be a commercial. Brenda, you says, you got to get over these rejections, right? Now, when I talk about this book, it's like the first step to being consistent, and with anything, is up here, right? Now, if you see it goes back to how you see yourself. So, Brenda, if you see yourself as, I'm little Brenda, I'm not a leader yet. Yeah, rejection. No one in the world likes rejections. Cindy, if she's honest, she doesn't like rejections. No one likes rejections, right? But you see yourself as being mentally tough. So when I get a rejection, it's like, hey, I'm a leader. I'm a leader. Leaders don't get, but the leader I envision, he's not, would this bother them? They wouldn't bother them. It may bother them for 2 or 3 minutes. You'll get over it. See yourself as a leader. If you see yourself as tiny little Brenda Johnson, who gets over rejection, yeah, it's going to get worse, and you never get over it, right? So you're the leader. If this happened, if Cindy got this, what would she do? See yourself as, when I talk about dreaming, you're dreaming of visualizing as a leader. Now, you may say, I'm not making any money yet, but that's the whole thing. You got to faith it. You got to see yourself as a leader before you become that leader. You got to be before you become, right? Be before you come. And with rejection, I actually think it's the rejection killer, right? There's so many things in rejecting the isogenics. They're not rejecting you. Also, if you talk to 20 people, you have to talk to 10 people today. And who cares if one person that says no to you? You have other people to move on to. You could always overcome rejection by quantity, right? You don't have time. Just so you have, for example, if I told you I have an envelope with a list of 10 names that's going to buy your products tonight, Brenda, but you got to call them before 10 p.m. Eastern, and someone rejects you, you're not going to worry about that person, because you're going to call those 10 people that are going to say yes to you. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's a mind game. And I think the last thing is, no one can really get over rejection. That no one can get over fear, right? Because there's always some fear. Is leaders learn to act in spite of fear. You act, you do it anyway. act in spite of fear. So they say no to me. Like you slap, I can take 10 slaps. I can take 10 pounds. I'll keep going. Right. You act in spite of fear. We all have fear. Every time I fear, it's like, what would a leader do? What would a leader like Cindy do? She'll do it anyway. All right. I'm that leader. There you go. We don't talk about vision. The most important vision is the vision of yourself. Right? Like I share, even when I was earning 11,000, 18,000 my second year, I saw myself as a 6-star, 6-figure earner, 6-star diamond, 6-figure earner. But what you're lying. You're only making 18,000. I'm going to get there. I am that person. It just haven't happened yet. Just having that faith. Right? It's like Elon Musk saying, we're going to colonize Mars. But you haven't done anything, but it's going to happen. He's talking about it. So 95% of success is up here. And that's why when I talk about the book, the first chapter about anything about consistency is up here. Right? No tip or strategy is going to work if you see yourself as not successful. You got to see yourself as that leader already before success even comes.
I love that. That is such great advice, you guys. And it goes without saying that helps with rejection for sure. You're all going to get no's. Guys, I still get no's to this day. And I do what Simon said, I just keep doing it anyway. And there's still things that I am afraid of or I have fear around, but I do it scared. And so I think that it really does make a difference if you can follow his advice on that and do it anyway. Awesome. As we start to wrap this up, Simon, what advice could you give to everyone here? I mean, we've got a lot of part-timers. We've got a few full-timers. I've got some amazing leaders on this call to stay in the game. Like, I loved what you said about 5 years when you're brand new, giving it 5 years. I think that's so important. And I remember Susan Sly said when I came on 11 years ago, she said 10 years. She said when she committed to Isogenics, she committed to being on, it was auto ship back then, it's subscription now. She committed to 10 years staying on auto ship because she thought it would take her that long to grow into the person she needed to be to lead a multi-million-dollar business. And she did it probably earlier than 10 years. But what other advice could you give to help people stay consistent, stay in the game, not give up? I think so many people face fear, get rejected, and then they do give up, Simon. So what other advice can you give before we close out our call?
I'll give you three things. Okay. Number one is getting back to what I shared before. You always act consistent to how you see yourself. Do you see yourself as a leader? When you see yourself as a tiny little new distributor just trying to figure things out, right? If you see yourself as not anything else than a leader, then you are going to quit. Now, Cindy has a lot of challenging times. Like, we're friends, right? She actually did coaching with me. I know a lot of challenges, but she keeps going because she sees herself as a leader, and leaders are unstoppable. So how do you see yourself? Most people give, if I ask you right now, you're honest, you can probably give out 10 reasons. No, wait, hold on. You don't grow, Laura, you don't grow into the leadership. You start being that leadership. You just start acting like a leadership, right? You've been waiting to grow into a leader. You're never going to be that leader. You got to start acting. So think about 10 things that Cindy would do. She's consistent. She's giving. She's loving. She acts in spite of fear. She doesn't let obstacles stop her. You start acting like that. The only way to grow into that leadership, you start acting like a leader. It's not like, it's like take steps. Most people think you take steps. No, you just jump. You can be nobody today. We're talking about Brenda Johnson. You could be the leader just like Cindy today. Immediately, like right now, you could. You can start acting like her. You could. Now you may the devil like, oh, Simon, that's lying. That's like you're not there. You haven't achieved it. That's the devil's problem talking you out of it. There's no one out there. If you're waiting to grow and be that leader, there's no one that says, all right, Brenda, you're our official Isogenics leader now. I give you permission to act like a leader. No one would ever say that. The only person who's giving you permission is yourself. Okay? You don't need to grow into a leader. You start acting a leader the second. Start acting and doing what a leader does. All right, think about after this call. If your business, Cindy took over your business, what would she do? Right? You start being that leader. That's the most important thing is like you got to be who you got to, it's how you see yourself. If you see yourself, oh, I'm not that good. I'm not, yeah, then like I shared with you when I was struggling, I wouldn't done. You be that leader, right? There was times when I went to an event, I didn't have money for an event, but you got to put on credit cards, but you got to go to the event. Second thing is, you talk about Susan. I'll give you two other things to think about. What was Susan Sly doing before Isogenics? What's she doing?
Worked in a gym.
All right, she worked in the gym, right? So if you work in the gym, you're not making much money, right? You're not making six figures. So if you're looking about Susan Sly's perspective, why she was so smart for 10 years, she basically said, it's just say Isogenics, you can make $500,000. So you can make a lot more, but just say $500,000. Or just say $200,000, right? In 10 years, if she worked hard at her job, at her trainer, whatever, working 2 jobs, could she ever make 200 grand with her background? Probably not, right? So 10 years is nothing. You worked hard for 10 years. Now, say, like a person like Susan Sly, she was working in the gym. If she had 20 years, will she be making 200 grand at a gym, working in the gym? She wouldn't. She'll never. So if you're going to work, if you think about 10 years, it's actually really short. Like one of my mentors said, she was like she just graduated from high school. She was making 40 grand as a secretary. She's like, well, even if I work for 40 years, I'm never going to make 100 grand. But with Isogenics, you have a shot. Work 10 years, you make $250,000. Sounds like a pretty good deal to me. The last thing is, think about this. Just say you make $1,000 a week. Now I'm not going to talk about $250,000. $1,000 a week. What type of interest is the bank paying you right now? Banks pay 5%. I don't know what 5%, right? 4% interest, right? 5 to 6%. So just say I was making. Now let's talk about $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month. How much money? So you're making 12 grand a year, right? How much money would I need in the bank? So I'll make $1,000 of interest income. So 12 grand a year in interest income. 5% of what? I'm trying to think. I'm Asian, but not very good at math. I'm trying to think.
Don't ask me. I can't help you out.
Okay. 60 grand, right? I think 60 grand. If you make 60 grand, if you put 60 grand in the bank times 0.05, 60 grand. No, hold on. 60 grand times 0.05 is only 3,000. No, you need more than that. So we're talking about 1,000 a month, you times 4. So you need $250,000, right? 240,000 times 0.05. Oops, 240,000 times 0.05. Yes, right? So I need 12,000. I only need $240,000 in the bank to make a 5% interest. Is that right? 240, is it that much? 240 million? If I did 240,000 times 5%, yeah, 12,000. 12,000. So what would be easier today? And that's after taxes. For you to come up with $250,000 and put it in the bank, earning a 5% interest, or for you to build your Isogenics business and make $1,000 a month. Right? To me, so once I got that, like our business is so much easier, right? Or think about rental income, right? If you want to get $1,000 a month in property, what type of rental property do you need to buy to make $1,000 a month, right? Now, if you put it that way, I suggest, again, residual to have building of a customer base, it will require work. That is way easier. So that was one of my aha moments when I was struggling. I was like, well, I know it's hard, but the alternative is way harder and not something I want to do. Yeah. So stay focused and stay consistent. Hey, I gotta go. I enjoyed the questions. They're very good, great questions, Cindy. Thank you. I love the questions from Randy. Brenda, thank you sorry for picking on you, but I think you are that leader already. You can take that type of being picked on, right?
Great example. Anyway, I dropped your website in the chat so everyone can follow you. Guys, check out his podcast if you haven't checked it out already. Subscribe to his newsletter, and thank you so much, Simon.
You're welcome. You know what, everyone send me a message on Facebook and Instagram. Take action right now, right? Like win the 10 minutes, and then send me a message on Facebook or Instagram and let me know what action steps you took. Okay, do that. And that would, because it's not what you learn, it's what you take action on. If you don't take action, then you just wasted my time. You wasted Cindy and Dana's time. So make sure you take action. Anyway, I got to go. Appreciate you, Cindy, my friend. I really appreciate you. Thank you for all you do. And remember to take action, send me a message, and go out there, have a positive impact on someone's life. God bless you all.
Thanks, Simon. Have a great night, everybody. Good night.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.